Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, Zelius.
I'm very confused about something.
What's that?
There's somebody else on the screen who I don't usually recognize on our live streams.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our special guest, Ando!
Ando!
Of AndoCon.
AndoCon!
Okay, there are children trying to sleep, okay?
What?
Mr. always has to talk in the loudest volume.
AndoCon.
Thank you.
It's coming this weekend.
All right, so,
I don't sound very excited about it because I can't yell.
okay, first of all, thanks, Ando, for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
I know that you are like literally, I don't know, almost in the 11th hour now for your convention.
Got just over 24 hours on it now.
That's crazy.
I know.
Of course, Ultra Confusion will be there. We have 2 panels. Of course, AndoCon is happening the 15th and 16th. That's this weekend in Atlanta. You can still get tickets, can't you, from the website?
Pre-registration is closed.
Okay, so you've got to be at the door.
You've got to walk up to
All
the
right.
door.
Yay!
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you want to attend AndoCon, you're going to...
Which you should.
Well, of
Which
course.
you should.
I mean, if you're in Atlanta, you should... I mean, what else are you going to be doing this weekend? You've got to go to this amazing convention. It's happening at the Marriott Perimeter, or is it the Perimeter Marriott?
Atlanta Marriott Perimeter Center.
There you
Yes. I looked it up today.
go. And that, of course, is right behind Perimeter Mall. If you're in the Atlanta area, you know where
Which
that is.
crucially has free parking to attend to.
Indeed,
Very much
it does. And, of course, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. It's going to start at 10.
10 a.m.
But-
I don't think we've explained. What is AndoCon?
Well, to piggyback one sec, just so you know, it starts at 10, although registration table will open at 9, so get there early and you can get your badge so that when we get started, you can just go in because it probably will technically get started a little bit early, but whatever. Well, we start at 10. So, for the crucial question of what is AndoCon, it is a gaming convention plus. It is all about geeky gaming. Everything in AndoCon does come back to gaming in some form or fashion. All of our guests are guests from the gaming industry. We got RPG designers, game designers, like tabletop and board game designers. And we've got panels and events where you'll get to hear them talk about various gaming topics and game design. We've got workshops. And of course, you can ask questions at that point. We've got game shows put on by Florida Whammy Entertainment. That will be a lot of fun. They've got a dedicated room. So all they're going to really be doing both days is running game shows. So if you come by, you might even get to be a contestant. That will be fun. And we even have a podcast who's going to be recording I say live, but I mean recorded at AndoCon, the Nerdburger podcast. So shout out to Craig and Mike there on that one. That's Saturday at 3 p.m. So basically everything, as I always say, it all comes back to gaming. So no matter what you see there, even if you might think, what in the world does that have to do with gaming? Trust me, it has something to do with gaming. And if you don't see how, you have to come actually attend whatever event or panel it is.
Now, I've been to 2 iterations of AndoCon.
You've been to both of them that
Or
were public.
I've been to both of them that have been
You
public.
got 100% attendance
True
record.
veteran! Where's your badge?
Achievement unlocked.
And I have to say that it's all about the community. It's all about checking out new board games, checking out new pencil and paper, getting to meet new people with like-minded individuals, and just having a hell of a good time.
And I'd like to throw in there that one of the great other things, in addition to just other attendees, is that when I say that we've got our guests that are like, the designers of these games, they're not just going to be like secluded off in the back and then come out just long enough to do a panel or sign an autograph or something. I mean, they're going to be in the game rooms running the games that they've created, some of which are not even published yet.
Nice.
So you not only are going to see them, you get to actually sit down and play games with them and hang out and just, get to know them because they're all really nice people. So that's a big part of it that I really appreciate.
Well, I personally will be all over anything that Eddie Webb has there at AndoCon, because I met Eddie at the last AndoCon, and he's a cool guy. And then we talked over email a little bit about my writing, or lack thereof. I'm a very sporadic writer. I apparently can write good stuff, but I can never go to completion. So I was asking him tips and stuff. And of course, the entire time he's working on a super secret project, which is now, the name is out. It's not officially out. It's Pugmire.
Which he will be running demos of at AndoCon.
Which I plan to be part of at least one if not more, of those demos. And of
You're
course,
just gonna sit at the table, just table camp.
and you're like, no, this piece taken.
I just see. I pulled it here. My butt's in it.
No,
Nothing.
the cool thing about Eddie is that Eddie, this is just for me. He reached out to me for MomoCon when he was doing writing for video games, the Thursday day session, and he reached out to me and asked me to join. I'm like, holy crap! The other people on here are like big names, and it's then me. but it's awesome. He's a really cool guy, really relatable, and so is Sean
Patrick Fannin,
Yep.
who his big thing is the Savage Rifts play demos. This is becoming a big deal because a lot of people are acquainted with Rifts RPG that's been out for many years, and of course we got the Savage Worlds RPG, and so this is taking these two ideas and putting them together, and this has some massive buzz. He ran demos of it at Gen Con, and it was like, he said people were going crazy. They were practically frothing at the mouth. So, obviously there's...
Zealies will be at that one.
Yeah, he's going to be running several demos of that. But
I don't know what
this
game it
indication,
is.
It's going to be really difficult to get a seat in. So if you're interested in that, you really need to get in on it. And then we've also got Jamie Chambers. He's going to be running a demo of Metamorphosis Alpha, which I'm not as personally familiar with, but I am aware that's one of the things he's going to be running. We've also got people coming to run more Shinetar, which was kind of the star of the show last year. And then the other scheduled RPG event, we might as well go through all of them. So local game designer Craig Campbell is going to be running playtest demos of his Murders and Acquisitions RPG, which I have had the privilege to play. It's very much like a corporate skullduggery. You know, it's very much real world, except imagine if you could just get away with whatever you wanted in the real world, even down to like corporate espionage and murder. And so, as long as you can cover your tracks, you can get away with it. So yeah, real world.
So it's like a real CEO.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so that's the main scheduled RPG.
So question is like, so you go to this, and it sounds like it's a lot of board games and tabletop.
Yep.
Is it going to be like classical games, you know, like Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne,
Absolutely.
and like regular board games people have played?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, basically, when you walk into the main open gaming room, there is one entire wall that is lined with nothing but tables full stacked like high with board games. So basically, if you're aware of it, it's probably there, and if it's not there, you should be bringing it yourself. So,
Is there any way to get a list of what's already going to be there, or we just bring whatever?
I mean, basically, trust me, with the number of games that are there, it's like the list is practically go on Board Game Geek and browse. I mean,
Now, for people like me who don't play a lot of board games, so I don't know how the rules are, is that like acceptable? Like, hey, I don't know how to play this game, but I'm going to play this game anyways with you guys.
Absolutely. We've got, in addition to the staff themselves, of course, you know, a lot of people, basically, if you've brought a game, it's you know, assumed you're probably going to know how to play it. And so if you are interested in playing a game that you don't know how to play, flag down one of the staff and just say, hey, I'd like to get a group together of this. We'll try to help put you together with other people who know how to play the game. And
Okay, so I see a game I want to try. Somebody will help me kind of find people to play the games.
That is definitely what we hope. I mean, obviously, if people are kind of in the middle of another game, I mean, you got to be courteous.
Hey, get your ass up! Come over here! We need to elsewhere.
But yeah, I mean, we that's part of what the staff are there to do, is to help put people together into groups and get them gaming. And of course, obviously, if you're a seasoned vet of gaming, then be prepared to maybe be asked to help teach a game that you really know.
Well, that's because wondering, because like logistics, like, you know, I'm off on my own
Yeah.
doing my own board game thing. It's like, okay, how do I find groups to play with?
Yeah, well, that's one of the problems that is kind of endemic to any gaming convention, and we are working, you know, we're always trying to figure out a way to sort of solve that problem, because it's very common. When you go to any gaming convention, it can be tough, and a lot of conventions have their ways of doing it, like, you know, sort of sitting there with the box top sitting up on the table, or, you know, put a Post-it note on it, say, hey, I want to play it. We haven't really instituted anything official yet, but any of those methods, I'm sure that'll be fine, and also just, you know, let the staff know, and we'll try and help. We'll do the best we can to get some people together to help.
Rock on.
This is going way back into the conversation now, but
Do it.
But when you said that there's going to be a podcast that's happening, It's Nerdburger. They were there last year, and I, of course, had the distinct privilege of recording a very small segment of the Nerdburger podcast in which the crowd anteed up money for one of the guys to punch the other one.
That's right.
And I was like,
In the face?
No, it was
in
in the arm. It was in the arm.
Wait,
I'll
you
punch
guys-
him for free.
No, he it's like rear back and pop.
Yeah.
So it's out there. I don't remember what.
If anyone wants to do this with the Ultra Fusion panel, I'm just saying, I'll punch this guy for not much money.
That actually, now that you went back to the Nerdburger podcast, let me throw in one other thing about that. Last year, they raffled off a copy of the, at the time, unreleased board game Chaosmos, which was in Kickstarter at that point, had been successfully funded, and it has since shipped. This year, they are also going to be raffling off a copy of an as-yet unreleased but funded on Kickstarter game, and that is Addictive Alchemy by AndoCon special guest Dave Lupo. So that is something, if you come to the Nerdburger podcast, you have a chance of picking that up.
Right on.
Sweet. Okay. So while we have you here, Ando, we know that you are a gaming connoisseur, as you know.
I guess you could say that.
So your gaming, where would you say your main focus in gaming lies? Like board games, or pencil paper RPGs,
Video games.
For the moment, what I do most of is tabletop board gaming, because I run part of one of the things we do with AndoCon is a weekly game night, which if you're in the Woodstock area...
You say weekly?
Yes.
Weekly.
Every Wednesday night, starting at 5:30 at the Barbecue on Highway 92 in Woodstock. That is where we meet. Anyone is welcome. It's completely free and open to anybody to come.
Where's Woodstock?
It is north.
Okay.
Actually, from here, it's like west and north.
Okay.
Anyway,
whatever. I don't even know which way we're faced. So yeah, somewhere.
That way.
Yeah.
over there in that sort of direction.
Yeah.
But anyway, because of that, I'm playing board games every week, and so that's just kind of by default. That's what I am used to. But I mean, I've also been involved in a couple of regular RPG campaigns before. I am a video gamer as well. I tend to enjoy more retro video gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking cartridge-based here, so N64 and before. I still
Totally
have
go with
I still have my original NES that my parents got for me when I was 7, and it still works.
Do you yell at video gamers to get off your damn lawn?
No, but I did almost do that to some kids that were sledding down it back in that snowstorm of, 2011, 2012, when we got snowed in for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Felt like really an old man at that point. I just sort of sat back down like, what am I doing?
No, I have a NES.
You should
Super
just open
NES.
up the door right behind you.
Yeah, in that storage room, there's a couple couple game systems. There's a PlayStation 2.
I have 2 of those.
I've got. Do I have 2 PlayStation?
I have one of your
Do you have a
PlayStation 6.
Dreamcast?
No.
Because I have one of those.
No.
You can play Elysian Shadows on it.
Yeah, Elysian Shadows when it comes out, if it comes out. So I've got a question for you, since you have a pretty good background in board games and card games and whatnot. What do you think about the push you're seeing from certain titles of going from the physical to the digital? Do you like that, or do you think that there might be stuff that's getting lost in translation? I mean, what is your feeling about that?
Well, I mean, obviously that can, and everyone's got their own opinion on it. My personal opinion is I really like the face-to-face interactions that you get. I have no problem with people who enjoy digital gaming, obviously, and certainly there's a place for that, but there's not really anything that, in my mind, can truly replace the experience of being able to look your opponent right in the eye when you start yelling at them and flipping the table, because something's lost when you're screaming through a headset,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really get that. I mean, that's why even when it comes to video gaming, I like the classic, because it's before everything was internet enabled, and so you go back and you're playing GoldenEye, and you got your tiny little quadrant of the screen, and then you can start bashing elbows into each other. I mean, that's a lot more fun.
Disconnect the controller.
Yeah, that's a lot more fun than getting called racial slurs by an 11-year-old.
Right, absolutely. I'm in total agreement. I love hot seat gaming. If it's going to be digital, where it's going to be multiplayer, I want to play hot seat. I want to be able to curse. I want to see the person and have them see the daggers in my eyes. It's the same with board games. I mean, it is kind of fun to the one benefit that can be given when it goes digital, if it's done right, is that you can have bots play.
Yeah,
it's something that's like Ticket to Ride's one of my favorite board games.
Yeah.
I think that, for instance, that's a great digital port.
Because
obviously it's fun to play in person, but it's one of those games that you don't really need to play in person per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that works for it pretty well online versus some of the more, say, complicated board games.
Well, the funny thing is that there are some board games that went digital and then left the ability to like solo with bots. There, it's you can only play it with other people, which to me is just like, well, why don't I just get the actual game and I'll go find people? I'm more likely to find them than I am to find.
And that's why I play like Ticket. If I just want to board, play a quick 30-minute game, I'll just throw up Ticket to Ride, play against some mods. I don't have to think about being called racial slurs by an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, to your point, getting sort of back to just what you consider standard video gaming, that is a very good point that I agree with, because a little bit of background on me: I am an only child. I was homeschooled from 4th grade through 12th. So you can imagine, not a whole lot of social interaction. So, everyone loves GoldenEye, but there's only so much enjoyment you can have with GoldenEye when you don't have anyone to play with. You can only play the single-player mission so many times. And yes, I'll grant, just in case he ever sees it, my dad and my Uncle James, they were willing to play with me, and that was fun when they would. But that was not all the time. My dad wouldn't sit down with me every night. But that's when Perfect Dark came along. Then suddenly, here's a game that has a good single-player mission. It's on the same engine as GoldenEye, put out by the same company. It's just as good. And they have a multiplayer that has bots in it. So my lack of social interaction isn't going to actually, I can actually play this first-person shooter, And I don't mean to diss on my childhood, because I really enjoyed being an only child homeschooled. But when it came to video gaming, that did make things a little bit difficult for some games, because, let's face it, GoldenEye, everyone remembers that for the multiplayer. Yes, it had a really good single-player game, but you played GoldenEye so you could kill your friends. That's what you did. You didn't play GoldenEye for the single-player.
But that was also kind of like almost like a changing in the guard of how you played video games.
Yeah.
Whereas, previous to that, everything was all single-player, maybe some hot seat games, but you're used to playing games like on your own, in your own basement. Where there's this.
I love you went
just
straight to
like
basement.
this.
I played in my bedroom. Thank you very much.
And then, after GoldenEye, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, holy crap, there's this whole audience for not necessarily online, but multiplayer video games. And now that we have the platform to do online video games, that's where we lament much times on Ultra Confusion about it, but everything is always online now.
Yeah.
It's kind of in that transition, and maybe GoldenEye is calling those first games that really kind of got the publishers/developers to be like, ooh, there's a new revenue stream here.
Well, and to your point about the online always and having and forcing the only type of online interaction being that of over the internet and not having hot seat, I think that's kind of the reason, and maybe it's just we've got social media, we've got Kickstarter and all that stuff, but I swear to God, I feel like there's so many more board games and card games that are coming out now that are hitting all these niche groups and like taking off in some regards, and I think that it's just it's filling the void of I miss playing games with my friends, and I can't do it with my video game I could probably hook up the 64 again if my sister hadn't stolen my 64.
But we talk about that at school. What you're talking about is it's a different generation that's coming, not just video games, but just online in general. And it's one of the things I know that's kind of lamented is, you see her playing video games online, is people also kind of losing the ability to interact. Well, that's what the worry is, at least. People are losing the ability to interact in real life.
Right.
Although I think we've seen plenty of adults who can't interact in real life worth a shit, so I don't really have to hold too much argument.
I'm keeping my mouth shut on that.
But you definitely see it's just today's gamers. I'm talking, probably high school and younger. They have a completely different expectation of what to expect from the video game than us.
Right.
We're used to. I know. We talk about microtransactions. That's what they know. That's what they're used to. They're used to not buying, a game for, okay, yes, you still have your $60 AAA titles, but they're used to all these freemium games. And just so them, it's kind of like, it's freemium. What's the big deal?
Well, and a lot of the $60 AAA titles are not necessarily unique. There's way too many of them that are just the next one in the franchise. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some WWE 2K games, okay? Don't get me wrong. But all the same, there's very little originality that's out there.
But there's a different cover. There's a different wrestler. Superstar.
I had to say.
The cover.
Superstar.
Sorry, Vince McMahon.
You should be.
I think, to be honest with you, I think another interesting thing is that with the $60 titles, and I hate to point fingers, but there are a lot of games out there that are coming out not complete, where in retrospect, when you look at a board game, I mean, it has to be complete.
Yeah.
Card games, they can,
Okay, but let's take board game argument for a second.
Let's do it.
You take board games, and even a lot of board games, it seems like from what I've seen, they have the DLC concept down packed. Where yes, okay, you buy your core thing. Oh, you want to play with more than 6 players? You have to buy the expansion. Oh, you got bored of this, this map because you played it 4 times. You gotta buy this DLC for the Asian map. So it seems like even board games are into the whole DLC trap. I don't know if it's just video games.
You've got a point there. There is one of sometimes you can kind of tell that a board game or a card game is kind of going to have an expansion. Like maybe it looks like it's complete, but you figure, well, they could probably fit a little more in this box. And sure enough, later there's one. But sometimes you can tell this game was made. It was designed with expansions in mind. And the one I'm thinking of, the most egregious example, throwing out my big vocabulary here, is Dixit. Because I just recently bought Dixit, and when you open the box, you've got your deck of cards in it, and you've got all your little the fiddly bits, the tokens and stuff, and then you got the board because there's a board that has the scoring track on it. But when you take the board out of the box, there's 3 more empty slots for decks of cards, and you're like, I think I know what's going to go in here eventually. Some more expansions for Dixit.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to point out, just say hello to Nakamoto Satoshi. Dang, go.
It sounds like a great anime name.
Actually, it probably is an anime
Probably
name.
so.
I probably just missed it.
Between the 3 of us, we probably watched a lot of anime.
I know. Well, I mean,
Between you alone.
For 3 years, my RA paycheck went to just anime. So I have over 400 discs, either Blu-ray or DVDs of anime. So I don't have all the anime, but I have a lot of anime.
It sounds like a retirement
all
plan.
the anime.
To be honest with you, what was my saving grace, and it's gone now, is called Sun Devil DVDs. It's kind of like Hong Kong imports, where they would literally just, for a real cheap price, they would burn like almost all the episodes onto like half the disc. So like Cowboy Bebop was what, 8 discs for 26 episodes, and if you got it through Sun Devil DVD, it was like 3.
Did they compress the video? It sounds like it's compressed if they're doing it that way. It has to be compressed in some way.
It was definitely a different format, but you didn't lose a lot of
the quality.
Yeah. Now, of course, there were some of them that the quality was crap, but the vast majority of them were pretty good, or they were solid. So I didn't really I didn't scream and yell and whatnot.
Right.
Anyways, I had one more question for you, Ando.
And then it fell out of your brain.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Name is paying homage to the creator of Bitcoin. Aha! There you go.
Learn something new. TIL. Today I learned.
I don't know.
Today I learned TIL.
It's a Reddit thing. Obviously, he's not a Redditor.
Oh, I have.
I was a digger for a bit.
I was dig, and then it went to shit when they did like the 2.0 revision, and that's when I moved to Reddit.
Basically, I was a digger until Kevin Rose left, and then I stopped.
Well, everyone from Dig went to Reddit, basically.
Well, yeah, because they jacked it. I mean, they absolutely 100%.
Well, Reddit almost imploded about 2 months ago.
Well, yeah, that too. Lovely. Okay, so one of the topics we did bring up, kind of that I brought up a little bit, was the fact that a lot of the big name titles are coming out as incomplete, and then they're just trying to fix it as they go, which, depending on how incomplete or broken it is, you can get away with it. Destiny by Bungie, a lot of people would say that was kind of an emptier game, but got stuff added to it.
But the thing with Destiny wasn't necessarily broken. It was almost like your analogy of the board game that came out with like the 3 missing decks. As soon as Destiny came out, and Bungie already kind of said it ahead of time, like, yep, get ready to buy a lot of DLCs for Destiny because they're coming out.
Yeah, that's the new thing, is season packs. And hello, Legend.
Cool Girl 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, when I do broadcast, I take my glasses off, and sometimes it gets a little too fuzzy.
I have to wear my glasses, or I feel naked.
I'm the only guy who's not wearing glasses in this.
I don't like not wearing my glasses. It's become so iconic. Gee, I wonder.
Well, if I walk into work without my glasses, like people do not recognize me. Students would be like, "Who's that?
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Do you have a pass? Do you have a badge? Where's your uniform?"
No, but okay. So to the point of games not being complete, there was a game that recently got under a lot of fire, and that game, of course, is called Journey of the Light, which was an independently developed game on Steam.
Why is the O capitalized but the T isn't? It should be one way or the other.
Shut the hell up, okay? My God, man.
It's a legitimate
Back
question.
away from this one right here.
Elmo! Anyways, so basically the gist of the story, and I find this really funny, and actually I'm surprised that not more developers have done this. This guy made a puzzle game where you're trying to make this ball of light travel across a level and light up all these lanterns in order to open up a secret passage that will allow you to go to 6 other levels outside this first one. There's supposed to be 7 total. But it turns out that after people spent 20, 30, 40 hours just like dicking around this game and drawing out maps and creating conspiracy theories that there was no way to beat the first level and that the other 6 levels didn't actually exist. So my question for you guys is, now that this has been, if this had not been found out, do you think that this would have been a more? Unfortunately, I feel like AAA titles are going to try to do this, but try to do it in a smarter way. I mean,
You mean like say? No, I disagree. Okay, let me explain why. Like, okay, we'll take the most recent prototypical example was Assassin's Creed Unity.
oh god, yeah.
As much as we want to, crap on Ubisoft for their craptastic release, yes, they released it obviously a little bit early, just a little bit. But they all, technically speaking, they kind of
Happy
released.
now?
Yeah.
Woo! They released what they said they're going to release. It's not like they said there's going to be 10 levels and they released 3 levels. Yes, it was a broken game. But they released what they said they're going to be, albeit broken. I think
they
it's
released what they said they were going to release minus
working gaming.
NPC faces and working camera.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Which
different
kinda-
circumstances.
But yeah, so that's just a feature or one piece of the element of the overall game. I mean, the entire game world was there.
But there's a difference. Like
But at the same time-
they're missing faces. That's more of a bug than the actual something being missing in the game.
Okay, as someone who has worked in the software development industry since 2007, I can tell you that it's not a bug; it's an undocumented feature.
Yep.
And we have, and this is one of those thanks Bill Gates moments.
Mm-hmm.
To have a face.
Well, to give us a scapegoat for releasing crappy software.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Now you sound like a politician.
No, okay, so
You
there's
should have been on the RNC
Vote Ando
debate.
next year.
there was a game that Zelis and I played
There was.
that actually
Only one.
that went with. So I don't know if they ever actually implemented this or not, but the game is called Firefall, and what was supposed to happen was they had like this map, and as you control these towers, the miasma would move back to uncover the world. Now, the world was supposed to be, ever so often they were going to expand and add another piece to the world so that you would have this wall of miasma that you just couldn't get through yet. And that's how they would add content, would be like, oh, all of a sudden you would see this huge invasion and they would build a tower. And that would allow you to take over the tower, and then ta-da, then a little bit more of the area comes up and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting.
That's a smart way to do it, I think.
Yeah, but I find it interesting that people breathe so much life into this game, and not go, well, shit, this is just stupid. Because it was, because in the freaking trailers, like. Voted one of the most difficult games ever played.
Firefall?
No, not Firefall. I'm going back to Journey of the
Oh, I didn't know you transition game.
To be fair, you transitioned kind of awkwardly.
I transition all the time. Who knows? But anyways,
Yeah.
but I think Firefall has an interesting way of doing it. But Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the transition from Firefall to Journey to the Light. I'm gonna be honest.
I just try to go back and do it. Shut up. Deep breaths.
So yes, Journey to the Light. Obviously, okay. So they released 7 levels, of which you could only access 1 level because basically somebody backward engineered the game to discover that, oh wait, the other 6 levels are missing.
They're just placeholder code.
Placeholder. Yeah, obviously when you pay for a game and you're expecting one thing and you get something else, yes, you should get a refund on the game. I mean, look at like Warner Brothers when they had
Arkham.
Batman, Arkham. I don't know what Arkham we're on. Arkham 3.
Arkham Knight.
I know it's the 3rd one.
Which was the? I'm gonna.
I think that was Arkham City, wasn't it?
Was it?
But whatever
I
that
don't know.
They gave people refunds on the game because they came out and guess what? It was broken when they released it. So yes, I have no problem with them realizing a little mea culpa. Oops, we screwed up. Here's a refund. Obviously, we would love it if they came out with the game and it was finished. But that's obviously a trend we're in now. But that's kind of where games are going. But then you also have the opposite, where some game companies, like say for instance Blizzard. How often does Blizzard, for instance, release a broken game when it comes out? You might not like the game, you might think it has features that suck, but it's not broken.
True.
Yes, the gold auction house, the real money auction house was an epic fail, but it wasn't actually broken. It broke the gameplay and it broke the economy, but it didn't actually break the gameplay mechanically.
Okay, fine. Blizzard does not release broken games.
Yes.
Do they release bad games?
Yes, they can happen. But there's actually a bad game and a game that's broken. So it can definitely be done where you don't release a broken game. It just doesn't seem to really happen anymore, especially on the PC.
I've been a PC gamer and I've sometimes floated over to console. I didn't actually have a console until I wasn't allowed to have a console in my house until I was a sophomore in high school.
But don't you also think, in a way,
kids these days,
it's the complexity, Isn't also the argument, though, where video games nowadays are so much more complex than they were 20 years ago, where you're probably going to, yes, guess what, encounter bugs in the games and things are going to be broken because of that extra layer of complexity that you didn't have back in the day.
That sounds like an excuse.
Yes, it is. I'm just saying that, there is some legitimacy behind why games are more complex and broken than they were back in the day.
Okay, speaking of games gaining complexity, I want Ando's opinion on this. Ando, do you think that the future of gaming is going to rely on VR?
I could see how some people would think that, but just like with why I don't think that touch interface will ever replace entirely keyboard and mouse, I don't know that VR will ever entirely be able to replace non-VR gaming. And I think that there's everything from the practicality of certain people, it's difficult to wear certain pieces of gear, and all the way to some people, because of like epilepsy or other conditions, won't be able to enjoy it. And also just some people don't really like that level of immersion in their gameplay. I really think that there's going to be a point at which you have to, that will be there as an option, but I don't think it's going to be forced as a mandatory thing because I just don't think that it will get enough adoption. They may try. Certainly, I can see people getting really excited about how good VR will get, but I'm just not convinced that it's going to become the standard.
But Nakamoto, I'm saying, yes, they're scamming, but you're scamming the parents, not the kids.
It's because the biggest hurdle to this day is always going to be the parents who blindly buy whatever little Billy asks for.
It's the big, it's height, good 5'8" to 5'10", sit in a row when you go to Game Boutique.
Oh man, you see, you're talking about that right there. That's one thing that it can be a bee in my bonnet when it comes to video gaming is how bad a rap it tends to get from people who blame video game violence and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, look, video games have had ratings on them since I was a teenager, and if you don't, basically, if you are selling a game that's got an M rating, you should be verifying their age. And so if the parents are buying not paying attention to what they're buying their kids, I mean, there is some level of responsibility you must take for that.
Right.
I remember.
I fully believe in that.
I'm with you. Working in a school, I hear it all the time. The lunchroom chat room. Man, kids these days with their video games, and it's making me violent in the classroom. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again.
Face palm.
Pretty much. I'm like, all right, guys. So about these video games.
Yeah.
So I hear it all the time.
I've actually that should be our panel for next year.
Video game violence in the classroom.
No, educating parents about video games.
Special guest star Jack Chick.
I mean,
Jesus, no, no, leave Jack Chick at home.
I mean, like back when I was a teenager, if I wanted a game and it was, you know, I didn't really want a lot of the M-rated, but there was a couple I wanted, like, you know, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and my parents would be like, "It's got an M rating, why?" And they would want to know why. And
What?
So, well, I mean, they knew GoldenEye because it's James Bond. They kind of figured
Right.
that part out. And Dad would want to play with me. Perfect Dark, they hadn't heard of, and they saw in the cover art. It's you can't really tell from the cover of Perfect Dark what it is.
Right.
So they're like, Perfect Dark has an M rating. Why? What about it? This one? So I told them what it was. And they're like, oh, it's just like GoldenEye. Okay, you can have that.
But nowadays we have a lot of kids. I mean, look at your cell phone alone. You know, so many kids, especially get to high school, even middle school, they're rocking out their cell phones and they have their own Apple ID or Android ID, whatever, that they're using on their phone, and they're downloading games at will on their own with their own username, ID, and password. It's I see it all the time. I'm like, really?
And all you got to do is say, yeah, I'm over 18.
Yeah, I got
Totally. I promise
That-
I'm at least 18 years old.
That's just it. I mean, that's unfortunately or unfortunately, that as soon as you hit that button, you've taken all the blame off the developer, which is
Yeah.
awesome because the developer.
The developer doesn't want that.
No,
Like,
God, no.
yeah,
No.
And I don't think it doesn't belong on them.
No, it does.
As long as they're if they're
Personal
not the same-
responsibility.
Yeah.
But the parents will blame the developer for creating such a violent game. I mean, this is a little history lesson about my upbringing. I used to be
In the good old days.
in the good old days. I used to collect comic books, and I would have, I had a couple of subscriptions going. I had Spider-Man. I had Spider-Man 2099. I had X-Men, and then something else. There's 4 that I got every single
Bless you.
Thank you.
month. And my mom saw one of the X-Men, and of course I had to cancel my X-Men after that. She took it, wrote a seething letter to Marvel.
Just Stan Lee himself.
Stan Lee himself.
Why does this woman have boobs?
No, it's because of the disproportion of the women with, waist ratio, boob ratio, all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I was kind of sheltered when I was growing up. Yeah. The only way that I was able to play like computer games was once it was known that computer games could contain violence, was that my dad had to play them.
Did he have to beat them?
No. But the problem was that my dad found that it was a very relaxing type of thing to do. So I lost the ability to play computer games because my dad would be playing them the entire time. Diablo 2, Baldur's Gate, the expansion, Icewind Dale 2, Baldur's Gate 2, Revenant, a couple other games. So
Actually, no. I mean,
I never had that. The worst I had was my mom heard Brass Monkey by Beastie Boys and made me throw the tape out.
I mean, no, I wasn't actually really all that sheltered. My parents tried to make sure that I was just, at the very least, that they knew what it was. It was more
Right.
informed, and if something looked really bad, then they
Right.
would, But I mean, my dad would. There's a lot of admittedly kind of crappy, but very fun Star Trek computer games, and
Mhm.
my dad and I are both huge Star Trek fans. And so we like Star Trek Klingon, Star Trek Borg, and a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But there are some ones that we would spend hours playing those because it was a great way to have this father-son time while playing games, which is something that I really liked, and it was Star Trek, which is something we both really liked. So it was very good stuff.
No, so I never played video games with my dad. He doesn't play video games.
Ooh,
We play
we're being
basketball.
asked how old we are.
I'm 33.
I'm 33.
I'm 32.
Young and Golf Bible.
As a matter of fact, I'm turning 33 very soon. In less than a month, I'll be turning.
Woo, 33 close! Woohoo!
So that means we are still shy of 100 years old between the three of us. That's
99.
right.
We're still young. We're good.
That's right.
We got another year to live it up before all hell breaks loose.
Then we're just gonna fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Real quick, the reason why my dad got into computer games was that he had a coworker that was big into King's Quest and Space Quest, and so they would.
It's a puzzle quest to find the original Constitution.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
So it was more like a competition between the two who could get through this game and that game faster. To circle back to the VR thing, I'm with you. I don't know if it could completely replace it. I think just like touch controls, I hate touch controls. I need that tactile feedback. I need to feel that. I think that if VR were to incorporate, see, one of the biggest problems with nice. No. Nice. One of the biggest issues with VR and any other peripheral is that it's third party. It's not required. Now, of course, it looks like Sony's probably going to try to put the Morpheus into their next iteration, but I don't know if they're willing to put everything into the Morpheus. If anyone's going to go the VR route, I think it's going to be Nintendo, and I think this
I
will.
can see that.
Don't forget about Facebook.
Okay.
You laugh.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, Facebook knows that Facebook 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever the fuck you want to call it, the next social media interaction is going to be a virtual world. Have you ever read the book Ready Player One?
You need to read it.
I own it because I got it in one of the mine's gone blank. The box that you can subscribe to.
Loot Crate?
Yeah, Loot Crate. Got that was in Loot Crate a couple months ago, and so I've got it, but I haven't read it yet.
Go home, read it. See,
Interestingly, there used to be an online community called Cybertown.
Yeah.
And I was a member of Cybertown. That was really kind of cool.
Well, it's basically, oh my gosh, what is that video
Second
game?
Life.
Yeah, it's basically Second Life.
Yeah.
See, and
But much more
With-
sophisticated.
I'm on the
Yeah.
far end, I'm all in on VR. I
Yeah.
think, decade, 20 years from now, probably 20 years from now, I think basically every video game is going to be in VR.
Have you seen the movie Surrogates yet?
I have not.
I've seen bits of that, and of course I've
'Cause it
also
goes
saw
kind of to what you're talking
Gamer.
I think it's
It
going
get-
on.
I
think
was talking about those last time when I was just talking
Yeah.
on the chat. Okay, well, never
Particularly
mind.
on the AAA end of the
Deja vu.
spectrum, I think they're going to be all in on the VR.
Mm.
At some point, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a couple iterations.
Well-
Price point has to come down is a big thing.
Yeah.
Because you're still talking, first generation or two, you're still talking big bucks. But at some point,
I think it's going to take some standardization. I think that it's going to have to be the thing to use.
Yeah.
And I think that
but you talk about standardization, it's no different. Like, look at our game consoles. You're basically down to Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony. Right now, you have a whole plethora of different VR technologies. And a couple generations from now, guess what? It's going to be the same thing.
You know what?
You're going to have a couple
right,
of
but I think that with the VR stuff, because they're pushing it on the PC as well, you're going to need a standard SDK. And I don't know how the hell you do that. I just don't. I don't know, because like the
It's
four
like, the
four
standard
devices I can think of off the top of my head, they all center around a specific unique point on how their VR is going to be better. So I don't know how that's going to translate in trying to get that standard SDK.
You know what? I would say two words, but it's two words pushed together to one word.
Uh-huh.
Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
But, okay, you're talking about standard SDK, and I don't know if it's the best example, but look at Java. You have a common programming language. You can run this applet in Linux, Mac, and Windows.
And
So-
it will eat all your memory in all three.
I'm not, believe me, I know it's, that's why I said I don't know if it's the best example.
It's not.
But you do have a common
But
SDK
yes.
they can use across all different platforms. And yes, if you're actually doing video,
Yeah,
actual
Flash.
real gaming, you're getting much better optimization.
Flash would be a better one because they use games on Flash.
Flash can burn in hell too, why it's added along with Java. You're right. So
I'm not arguing with either one of those right there.
Yeah,
just so
all
you
right.
know.
So there are HTML5. There we go.
And I agree, actually,
Yes.
with what Naka said. I completely agree with that.
The
100%.
VR innovation will be frontier by pornographers. To be honest with
Yeah.
you,
That's most technology.
I mean,
When
there's
it
already
comes to-
strides in that direction. There was a cracked article on it, I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you want to, it's always when you have a format war, whichever one porn goes with, that wins. VHS versus beta. VHS is what porn chose. Guess what? Beta went for
Didn't realize this was going to be a topic of conversation.
HD DVD.
We're guys.
HD DVD versus Blu-ray. They went with Blu-ray. HD DVD goes.
I've never before thought of porn as the trailblazer in the technology industry, but now that you point it out, mind blown.
You're not going to see it on CNN's front article of the day, but it's definitely
No.
prevalent.
Because the thing is, to be honest with you, they produce so many so fast that
Ain't got a point.
whatever. So yes, whatever. It gets complicated with the VR stuff, but yeah, it probably will have that will affect
It
it.
will get complicated.
So,
Yes, of course.
porn always does.
And tactile feedback will definitely play a hand in that. Hello. Okay.
Where's your hand check?
What you will not be seeing at AndoCon this year.
That's Andocon 2.0.
AndoCon After Dark.
Oh Lord. Andocon After Dark, where videos disappear.
Tales of Andocon.
Anyway.
So to roll back real quick to Andocon here.
Wait, we're not talking about porn anymore?
please.
No, we're going to go back to
Porn at
Andocon.
Andocon?
No porn in Andocon. Not that we can talk about. I mean, what?
Well, there was that video that you only shared with me, you know.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to Altered Confusion.
Hello.
The quest to alter your porn and confusion.
No, God, no. Mm-mm. So one of the things, as you pointed out, is you've got a lot of unreleased games or prototype games, or
Right.
basically games in several different
Stages
of development. Now, the question is, I know that it's too late for this year's Andocon, and I'm crossing my fingers that we'll have Andocons to come, or more to come. The question is, do you when someone, let's say that I have a pencil to paper RPG,
Mhm.
and let's just say for shits and giggles call it Crystal Prime. I'm just pulling that name out of the
Really? Just out of nowhere?
Just out of nowhere. If I
Random
wanted
names generator.
if I wanted to, have that game at an Andocon,
Mhm.
what exactly would be required? Would I just say, hey, I want to show this game, or would you need to check out the game? Are there requirements, or is this kind of just like a?
Is there monetary exchange or bribery like we're in Chicago?
Well, you see, the first thing you need to do is grease the palm a little bit, and then we'll talk. Well, I've done it both ways before, because I've had games where I either heard about the game or I was approached by a developer or something, and I didn't get the chance to play it before. But whether it's because I recognize the name, or I usually just check out a website, read a synopsis. I usually like to at least see the beginning of for an RPG player's handbook, or for like a rule set for a board or card game, something like that, and usually at that point I can tell whether or not I think that it's in a state that's complete enough. And I don't think I've ever actually turned one down, so far at least. There'll always be a first, but
Right.
then... but usually I like to see something. If I don't get a chance, I'll usually still typically be okay, but I usually would want some kind of referral just to make sure that I'm not being sort of taken for a ride. But since I'm not having to pay anyone and they're not having to pay me for the privilege there, the only thing is just getting here's a little bit of insider information. Our game designers that come to demo their games do get a discount on registration, so there is that. But aside from getting a few bucks off the admission price, there the idea is that if you're there because you're a game designer, people are going to be wanting to play your game. So
Right.
if you don't have a game to demo, or if you demo a game and it's crap, then it's basically it's going to be kind of of governed by the attendees.
Mhm.
But I do really like if I get the chance, like I said last night, I got to preview the new edition of Prowlers and Paragons that Sean Patrick Fannon's working on, and it's really awesome, by the way. But if I get the chance, I do like to be involved in them. So it's always it's a plus if you can get me on board, because if it's just that I know you're a game designer, and even if I know that the game is legit, if I haven't played it, there's only so much I can realistically say other than, well, here's their website and this is what people say about it. But if I've played it, obviously, then I'm going to be like sharing it on social media, and I'll say, hey, I can attest this is a really good game. You should play it, and maybe I'll even sit down and play it at the con and draw people in. So that kind of thing is helpful.
So it sounds really like for games that maybe aren't released yet, that this is also a great place to basically beta test your game with fellow players and get feedback on what does and doesn't work on the game.
It really is, and that's one thing that I also that's one reason I'm so open about the fact that I do this, is that I want people who are the regular attendees to know that those game designers are there, so that if you are interested in trying out a game that's not published yet, we can point you in the right direction. There's gonna be a sticker on the badge of the game designer, so you can know that that's what they are. And like there hasn't been a single one of them that I've met and played games with yet that has not, at the conclusion of the game, said, "So, give me some feedback. What do you think? What worked? What didn't work? Was there anything you didn't like?" Or at least they'll be watching you really carefully. There's some of them that are just really good at reading, and they can kind of tell. I noticed during the game that you looked really bored at this point. Is there something I can do to make that better? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I had forgotten to mention it earlier, so good that we circled back around to game design there at AndoCon. See, we're circling back a lot during this, but
That's what we usually do.
one of the things that
Shut up! Shut up!
One of the things that is going to be going on there is there's a company called Unpub. I'm not sure if you've heard of Unpub before. Basically, they're all about what they do is they have when they have events, they have a table there, and game designers will come with their unfinished, or at least beta testing versions of their games, and it's a great way to go and immediately do that. And Unpub is going to have an official presence at AndoCon this year. They'll have a table that advertises this is the Unpub table. So in addition to just looking for people who have the sticker on their badge, which looks like one of the little meeples, in addition to looking for those game designers, you can also go straight to the Unpub table, and there will be people who will be having their testing games there, and you can just say, hey, I want to get in. So that there's no additional cost for that part, just a registration for AndoCon.
Cool.
Okay, so I have a random question.
I have a random answer. Let's see if
you
they
mentioned
match.
Meeples.
Yeah.
And it's that company who they have like a bunch of online like board/card games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Keep going.
Oh, okay. So it seems like
give me more than that.
okay. I don't remember the name of the games. I've played them before. Where I'm going with this, it seems like some games, being board games or mostly card games, probably in this case, they're more some are oriented more for playing in person. And some are more oriented for playing online with other people. So when you're thinking of a game, what maybe makes a game better for playing in person versus maybe playing the game online? Because clearly some are made to play online that I've played.
I mean, a lot of it will come down to personal preference, but one thing I think would make for a better online game is if it would not be a hassle or an annoyance if you take a while to consider your turn and your strategy. If you're prone to analysis paralysis, it's being in person can frustrate the other people if they've already, like if it takes 20 minutes to come back to my turn and my turn takes 10 seconds and I know what I'm doing, then I have to wait for somebody else. Yeah, that can be aggravating. So that's one thing. Something that conversely would make a good case for an in-person game would be if it's helpful, particularly to be able to see the people that you're playing with. Like if there's some, like being able to read body language or being able to see what they have, in front of them, that might help. I mean, yeah, there's ways you can do that kind of thing online. But to me, that there are certain games for which the social aspect is better. I suppose online would be better if it's not really a game you can carry on a conversation over. If basically you can't let yourself get distracted, if you have to focus on the game really hard and the social aspect isn't as important, then I guess that's one thing that would make a better online game.
Right on.
Okay, so we're going to open up the floor here just in case anyone in the audience wants to throw a topic our way. But while we're waiting, it just dawned on me.
Oh.
Um,
Moment of light bulbs.
God dang it, I will never remember his last name. Sean Patrick.
Fannin.
Thank you, Fannin. I always want to say Flanagan for some reason. I don't know why.
You're trying to make him even more Irish.
I know. It's so weird. He is his studio like Beagle something?
Evil Beagle Games.
Evil Beagle Games. And
Does
Eddie
he have a
Webb
Beagle?
is.
Eddie Webb, that
Yes.
is, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now.
Does that
I'm
have something to do
having a
with pugs?
I'm sorry, Sean and Eddie. I'm apparently failing you right now for.
But I'm
remembering
just saying. It
I'm
just
on the
dawned on me
spot.
that both their companies are focused on dogs, and like it just like
I
clicked.
don't think Eddie's is named
Well,
after it.
But he's
got
got
game.
pug bar right
Because
around his
he
pug,
has a pug. Yeah,
which he dresses up in bow ties.
that's what we saw on Facebook earlier.
Exactly.
He'll be at the convention in a bow tie.
The pug. Well, the
I
pug won't.
don't
be attending.
think that
The
we're gonna
pug
let
will
the
be there?
pug in. I don't
Aw.
think they're letting the pug in.
Can I bring my cat though?
No.
Oh.
It's a hotel. I don't think they're going to be cool with that. I mean, I think they let in like if you're
Or
you're
she's a service
visually
cat.
impaired, they have the service animals. I think.
If I have my glasses on, I'm service impaired.
Service cat. No. Jesus. Why don't you just bring your service horse?
Oh,
Because my cat is much smaller.
But
She can
less
fit in a-
reliable.
She can fit. How do you know she's not reliable? I've never even met my cat.
I've heard
She's
the
very
stories
rare-
of her
she's-
just randomly going, "Oh, look, wires."
Well, while we're waiting to see if anybody would like to ask any questions, is there any other? Is there anything else AndoCon related since you got me? I mean, I could expound. I could tell you the history of AndoCon if anyone cares, but that's
I care.
okay.
All right, give us the history.
I'll make it as abbreviated as I can because I know I can. I'm a rambler and I'm a
Wait,
storyteller.
wait. We have Sauce Boss
Oh,
3321.
It's
I
very
have one
important.
question.
Very important question in the entire galaxy.
42.
We are on pins and needles waiting to hear the
Actually,
question.
42. Apparently, if you were to break the 4 and the 2 apart,
And translated into
and
Japanese.
translated into Japanese, that means death.
She, me, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not.
And by the
You
way,
guys build.
By the way, 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
That's
No.
pretty close. I'm just
a
saying.
meth lab.
I'm good. See, they actually did that in the back of a Taco Bell when it was closed, and they got busted.
Yeah, I have a cat. I have a service cat, and I don't need her doing math because that messes with her ability to do service work for me.
He's really on about the service cat. Isn't
I know. All right, so once upon a time, back in the day, Ando Con.
Well, once upon a time, back in the day, there was a lowly geek named Ando who was
In a
going
land
to Kennesaw
far, far
State
away.
University.
Mhm.
And I got to be known, kind of got my reputation to be the guy that wears Hawaiian shirts or hoodies, depending on the time of year, and would bring board games into the Student Center at Kennesaw State University, Kennesaw, Georgia. Go Owls! Hoot! And after I graduated, I didn't want that to fall away, and so after I moved out of my parents' house, my then fiance and become wife started throwing house parties and just gaming parties. People come over on Saturday, hang out, and then one time after I'd been doing that for a couple of years, I was working at Allstate Insurance Company. Had a couple of my friends that I'd made in other regions. Actually were interested and flew in, one from New York, one from Washington, and we had a 2-day party, and it was a lot of fun. And when we were taking them back to the airport, the guy from Seattle was like, "This is great. We should do this. You should do this every year. Dragon Con does it every year. It has people in from out of state.
Why can't you?
Yeah, you should totally do this. Call it I don't know, AndoCon or something." And it's just like, oh, that's brilliant.
Ding, ding.
And so for the next few years, we would do that. Once a year, we would have a big party, and we would call it AndoCon, and it was just this big parody. It was a joke. We'd print out badges, and we'd take attendance, and even when you had achievements that people could unlock, we'd give them stickers to put on the back of their badge.
Nice.
And it was this big joke, we were making fun of it. But then my wife and I staffed MomoCon in 2012, which is an anime convention in Atlanta, if you're not aware. And it just sort of it was just this moment leaving MomoCon the last day of, we could probably make this.
There you go. Keep going.
We could probably make this AndoCon a real thing, an actual convention. Do you want to? We're like, yeah, let's try it out. So this was right before AndoCon 2012, and I made this speech over pizza to my friends and about how this was going to be the last private year in the house. Next year we're going to rent a public space and do something with it, and everyone needs to invite their friends. And they were heckling me and they were laughing. And I think maybe they didn't think I was joking, but I think they didn't really take seriously that I could make it work.
Mhm.
But then next July, I rented out the Cobb Conference Center in Kennesaw, Georgia, and I made it work, and I got almost 250 people to come to the convention. So I think we all know who got the last laugh.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. When I don't even know how the hell it happened, but when we caught wind of AndoCon, and ironically, it was him who found out about it
It
while
was?
in Minnesota. Yeah, you wrote the article.
Yeah, go me!
He wrote the article. He's like, there's this cool convention that's happening in Atlanta. You should check it out. And so I was like, well, shit, it's in Atlanta. I can go check it out. So I
You're welcome, Ando.
and now we'll be going to our third.
Yeah, I mean,
AndoCon.
this joker reaches out to me on email and is like, "Hey, can I do this panel and come as a press guest?" I'm like, "I don't care. Destruction of the video game industry. Okay, that sounds like fun. Go for it. Whatever."
Yep. So I got Jesse to come with me,
Right on.
and we went there. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I first pulled up, I'm like, I think we're in the wrong place because this is a pool house.
Yeah, and the Cobb Conference Center is behind a pool that's between two motels. So
Nice.
it's if you don't know what you're looking for, it is a little.
So if you got pissed off playing like a board game, you just throw the person in the pool?
something like that.
I
Yeah.
like it.
So yeah, and then of course it moved to the Marriott.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more spacious,
By a little bit.
just by a little bit. It was it's a lot of fun, and of course it's building, and hopefully we'll have
More people.
more people, more
All-
awesome people to hang out with.
All the signs. Obviously, you can only predict so much, but if you take statistics and trends
Mhm.
and math things that smart people know that tell me smart things, we kind of look like all of our indications are that we're actually going to break our attendance record this year. So hopefully you will be one of them.
Yes, audience, go.
So here's my real question.
All right, real question.
Is there booze that we can buy while we're there?
The hotel has a bar. AndoCon does not specifically provide it, but if you go to the hotel bar and get
What
that,
if I
that's
bring
fine.
a table and stock a bar?
No.
We could have the
No, you need a vendor license.
Ultra Confusion Bar actually makes a lot of sense. Like it's the perfect name for bars.
The only way, okay.
Yeah,
For everyone out there, put your fingers in your ears real quick, okay? Besides these, not you. I need you to. The only way you can get away with that is if you have a suite party, and you would have to have an ID check at the door.
Are we talking legally or ethically?
Legally.
I never said legality was a just.
Yeah, we don't want Ando to get nailed for it because the hotel would immediately put the blame on Ando. I'm sure there's some clause. In
I'm
the contract
not sure
as well.
why you're including me in the suite.
there is a clause in the contract. We
See?
cannot provide alcohol. We cannot provide alcohol.
Well, I'm
We
not a
will
part of the
not.
suite, so it's fine.
We actually have an audience question here.
Thank
We
you,
do?
Sauce Boss.
So, well, the thing is, it was immediately answered by another
Oh.
audience member, but
Our question is, we look like stereotypical animators. So the last anime I've watched was. Okay, the problem I feel like about my anime is I don't want to give away too much.
Anime.
Because it's a question.
Do you guys watch anime?
Oh, my bad. I like. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so the last anime I
Oh, but wait,
watched.
hold on. Take your fingers out of your ears.
Wait, but if they're okay,
Sauce Boss.
was Attack on Titan.
Okay.
If you don't want a spoiler on Attack on Titan, plug your ears for the
Oh,
next minute.
Oh, for the love of God! No spoilers. Just say that's what you're watching.
Okay, I stopped watching it because it annoyed me.
I think I remember you talking about
Yes, it's over, Sauce Boss.
it. Yes.
I've been watching Knights of Sidonia on Netflix.
I am an anime watcher. I've actually kind of fallen out of the habit for a while. Been really busy with, guess what? AndoCon. Making a lot of appearances at other conventions. But anyway, I am an anime fan. My tastes tend to run a little bit different from these two gentlemen here. I tend to go towards what you would probably consider the squishier stuff. Your teen dramas, romantic comedies, that kind of stuff.
I got those two.
Like one of my favorite, I love Rosario plus Vampire, Oran High School Host Club, School Rumble. Really love Community Todoke. Toradora. It's one of my favorites.
Yes, I did, Sauce.
I gotta look.
I did say Attack on Titan.
Super Saiyan.
So,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I cannot watch Dragon Ball Z. Maybe it's just the Americanized version, but I swear to God, every single time I hear in this episode, Goku does a left kick. Stay tuned to next episode where Vegeta does 2 punches.
I watched Dragon Ball Z abridged. Go Team 4-star.
I've never watched a single thing about Dragon Ball Z, so you guys are just, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I've got too many anime. I'm going to tell you, there's an amazing movie. I like the movie. Some people don't like it. Whatever. I like the movie. It's called Wonderful Days. When it came over to the U.S., it's called Blue Skies, I think is what it's called. And find Wonderful Days. Don't watch Blue Skies.
What did they
For the
change?
love of fucking God, stop editing movies.
What did they actually do? Like take chunks out of it or something?
They took the first 15 minutes and just took it out. They're like, who the fuck cares? I'm just like, ah!
I can tell you're passionate about this.
I am very passionate about it. It's like when I went to when I watched
I remember
Steam Boy. When I watched Steam Boy, the subbed version, and I was like, oh man, it's a great movie. And then I went, and then they were showing it like 45 minutes away from where I was living at the time. Me and my buddy jumped in the car and went to the only theater within like, I don't know, like 100-mile radius that was showing it. And then I came out of the movie going, what the fuck was that? That's not the same movie. They fucking added like 13 different parts. Leave the shit alone. For the gun. Why do you not watch Attack on
I'm not allowed to give spoilers. I'm sorry.
No, don't spoil. No,
Sorry.
sorry, we can't answer that question.
You can like if you can post, you can like email us the question. I'll be happy to respond to you via like email, but I cannot say
Okay,
on public TV.
The problem with recommending an anime is without knowing your taste, we could all three recommend different things, and you might hate all three of them. I mean, without knowing more, it's not going to be able to help. I mean,
So the first anime I ever watched, thanks to this mofo over here, was Record of Lotus Wars.
Mhm.
It's amazing. It's not campy. It's not super serious. It's kind of somewhere like in between of like the campiness versus like being like super serious about the fate of mankind and what it means to have a soul. So that's why I like that one.
and on my case, if you like slightly squishier things and funny things, I would recommend.
What does slightly squishier mean?
Okay, look, girly stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Okay!
Quote, girly stuff. It's not.
All right,
whatever.
fine.
I can understand girly.
Anyway,
Oh, you
Go
know.
get my stuff.
if you want a recommendation from me that's funny and it's got it's okay to be emotional about, Toradora is really good. Oh, wait. Okay, one that's not necessarily girly. Angel Beats. I swear to God, Angel Beats is my favorite anime of all time. I've watched it twice, and go watch Angel Beats. That's my recommendation.
I want the opposite of squishy. Okay, well, let's just start off with
Fine.
let's start off with Berserk.
Oh yeah.
Berserk. That's nice and bloody.
Hardcore underground shit.
Huh, whoa! That's called hentai. We don't.
No, for love. Okay. So okay, we got some Love Hina in
Oh,
here.
man.
We've got some what the hell is that? Magic Ray Earth Knights. Got some that's Ray Earth Knights again. Midori Days.
This could take a while to go through. I'm just saying.
Seriously. But I want to look through this when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Well, so I've got a couple here or there. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Anyway, welcome to Altered Confusion.
Anime nerd.
Yeah. I've got a problem. I always have that one thing that I have to continuously buy. For a while it was anime. For a little bit it was manga, and then I was just like, fuck, I'm spending way too much money. That fucking cost way too much. And then I started. Actually, the first one was comic books. Then it was anime.
Comic books ain't cheap either, man.
No, they're not. Anime, then manga, then Kickstarter.
That shit ain't cheap either.
And Enocon memorabilia.
Enocom.
I'm waiting on that, so I can get my retirement fund going. I can sell it 60 years from now for less
Is anyone crocheting a one-up blanket?
Not this year.
No!
We did not have time. Yeah, with our first public year, my wife crocheted a not insignificant size, like
It was
4
big.
4 foot
It was big.
1-up mushroom from Super Mario Brothers, the original
Nice.
Super Mario Brothers, and we raffled it off. And the guy, and actually coming full circle, we recently were at a gaming event with the guy who won it, and he says it's still hanging up in his living room.
That's
Nice.
cool.
So that was awesome.
She could probably make money selling that shit like an Etsy.
Probably so, but it just it's
Time.
the time to do it versus how much you can get for it.
This is true. We can mass produce it on your old school loom.
if you need a good sturdy
You don't
stool,
You don't crochet on a loom.
oh God, no, just no talking, no talking, no talking.
Weaving.
Yes. Which, of course, as soon as I think about weaving, I think about, I don't know why, but I go and think about the Odyssey and Odysseus' wife, and at the end of every single night, she's removing a couple rows because she said that as soon as she's completed weaving whatever the fuck she would, a rug or a tapestry, that she would find a suitor because Odysseus was still not there. I have, you know.
Wow, that was
No! Oh God, what's wrong with me?
that was how.
Not that that's a bad thing, because certainly I am too.
Speaking of nerds, if you have not picked up the book by Felicia Day called "You're Never Weird on the Internet," almost, I highly recommend that you pick it up. I've read. I started really reading it last night, and then I started maybe 10 o'clock, and then I was just reading. I was reading, and then I look at it on the clock. It's like 12:30. I'm like, fuck, it's just gonna hurt in the morning. So definitely check that out.
I was up until 1 a.m. last night playing a superhero RPG. I got nothing I can say on that.
Also,
That's way past my bedtime.
Zelius and I have an amazing artist friend named Jackie Lewis. Her newest book, Lion of Rora, just came out recently, so you definitely need to pick that
Wait,
up.
she came with another book?
Yeah.
Hot damn!
Yeah, I've got it upstairs. I'll show
I
you.
got my dragon book of hers at home.
She's an amazing artist.
She's pretty rad.
And if you catch her on a really, really good day, maybe if you're looking for a unique and awesome looking tattoo, maybe she'll draw one for you. Because every single tattoo she has, she drew it herself.
I know where your next tattoo's coming from.
I know what my next tattoo is.
Next? Wow, I didn't know you had it.
I got one right here.
We'll show you afterwards.
Yeah.
That's Ando After Dark.
Andocon After Dark.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
It's gonna be right here. My next tattoo, and it's gonna be altered.
It's gonna be a heart with Brody.
Oh, it's
No,
not
it's-
going to be the glasses?
No, it's not gonna be in their glasses. Unfortunately, no. It's gonna be Alter Confusion right here.
All right.
That's wow.
That's what. I've been doing this for almost 8 years.
You know what else I've been doing for 8 years? Living.
No, you've been doing that for 33. I hope.
Yeah, I don't have a heart tattooed on my arm.
You should have a heart for every single year. Just make a sleeve of it.
And it keeps on expanding as I get older.
But it needs to be in the style of The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
and every 6
pixelated.
months, it's like every year at your birthday, get the hollow one. Then 6 months later, get
Yes.
it half
Okay.
filled in.
Yes.
And then later,
Yes.
I'm gonna admit that's actually a pretty bad
If anybody
does
does
that,
If anybody brings something like that to Andocon in the future and shows me the progression of that, then I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will make it worth your while.
Lifetime badge.
yes,
Maybe, I don't know,
Oh.
but I'll do something.
I
will
like that.
I will abuse my privileges as the president and founder and make something happen.
Abuse you after dark.
Shut up! Shut up!
I need an adult,
Seriously,
and it ain't any of us.
we're gonna need a special security service to just stand by him the entire time.
My service cat will protect me.
No, it's to
You
protect
and your
everyone
service cat.
else. Oh, God.
She has a leash.
You walk your cat?
I
How does that go?
Not very well.
That's what I figured.
It doesn't really go anywhere. She just kind of plops out the ground and doesn't move.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have reached the end of our time
Trapped.
slot. Once again, if you are looking for an amazing thing to do over the weekend and you're in the Atlanta area, go to Andocon. Of course, you can find out all the information at www.andocon.org. Of course, remember that the pre-registration is now over, but there are going to be tickets at the door. So just show up. Parking is free. And,
It's close to Marta.
It's close to Marta. The table opens up at 9.
Yeah, the registration table opens at 9 both days. The open gaming opens at 10, or whenever we're ready, both days.
So
And as far as Saturday night, it will be open until it's closed. I mean,
So, question.
there
does
really
10
will be an after night.
Is there an opening ceremony at
Yes.
10 or
Yes.
something?
at 11 o'clock, actually, where I will introduce our special guests and talk about what Andocon is and what it isn't and what you can expect to do and see.
So,
And
And immediately following,
so what you're going to do is you're going to give us a 5-minute warning. You're going to tug on your earlobe, and then
wait, we have a panel?
yeah, right after his.
Oh, shit.
And he's going to give us the ear tug. 5 minutes before he's supposed to end, and you're going to position yourself in front of the door to keep everyone in there for your panel.
Wait. You're expecting me to keep everybody in the room?
Yeah.
Something tells me the Florida Whammy guys are not going to be happy they can't go next door and start their game show.
I think I'm going to lose this battle.
All right, if Florida Whammy, if you're going to watch this or whatever, $5 and you get out
And
per person.
And another couple for me, just because, I'm Ando. And
Yeah, of course. So, anyways, once again, thank you, Ando, for coming on
Thank you for
to
having
the
me,
show. We can't wait. It's we are now 36 hours away,
Ish.
something like that,
Ish, yeah.
40 hours away. How about that? It's gonna be awesome.
Is there an initiation to get into AndoCon? Well, for one thing, money must change hands. If you call that an initiation, whatever. And if you really want to keep, I'm just going to stop there. I'm just going to get myself in trouble if I keep talking. No, there's no initiation.
Come find us at the convention. We'll show you the dark hallways that you. I mean, what?
Okay, I'll put it this way. It only hurts for the first 5 minutes. After that, you're fine.
How do you feel about? No, I can't even go there.
No, my mind is going down a spiral
Do
path.
you remember last year, Charlie?
Parts of it.
I heard the lube helped.
No, God,
Not
no
really.
way! No, it does not help. I mean, what? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Connection Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, Celius, and our special guest, Ando, it's been a pleasure to give you this amazing broadcast. Hopefully, we'll see the vast majority of you at AndoCon this weekend, but if you are unfortunately unable to go to AndoCon, which is very sad,
You make me cry.
yes, Ando will need consoling.
Don't make
so
Ando cry.
I need a hug.
He will accept packages of awesomeness, filled with booze, free stuff, money, whatever,
Cash,
Anyways,
tattoos of hearts.
what the fuck? Okay, anyways, before Zealous goes again, we're going to close it, but once again, andocon.org, and for myself, Charlie, Zealous, and Ando, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world at AndoCon.
Amen to
I
that,
am
brother.
Ando, and so can you.
Yes!